Good morning, Nigeria. A brand new week is here, and we are so glad to have you with us. Welcome to Daybreak Live right here on Dominion Television, your #1 destination for stories that matter with a fresh early morning twist. Welcome. I am Samson Balogun.
Good morning to you wherever you're watching from, especially our folks in Ibadan, the ever-vibrant capital for your state. It's the 23rd of June 2025, and the weather this morning is saying one thing. Yeah. Grab that umbrella and take it easy. Good morning once again. I am Yemi Adelakun.
That's right, Yemi. The rains are intensifying across the southwest. And here in Ibadan, we woke up to cool winds, cloudy skies, and scattered showers here and there, and the temperature is hovering around 24 degrees Celsius with high humidity and chances of thunderstorms by midday, quite clear. So if you are heading out or going to work or going to school, you have to plan wisely today. Go along with your umbrella.
Exactly, and honestly, Samson, there is something refreshing about the Ibadan rain, the red hairs, the calm skies, and that early morning pepper soup calling your name. What you think?
You do not want to start with food temptation this morning. This is early Monday morning. Please just avoid me. Okay. And of course, Yemi, you want to start Monday morning with food temptation. No,
not exactly.
Don't go there. Don't go there. But of course, there are quite a number of interesting things to talk about this morning. We've got a lot lined up for you as regards Daybreak Live. You know, on this show we give you back-to-back something really interesting for you. We are going from sports to the news, to going to the newspaper headlines, and of course, you have a lot right here for you.
Exactly. And now let's get you set for the day. Here's a quick look at what we have lined up for you this morning.
All right, first up on Daybreak is Daybreak News this morning. We'll take you through the top stories making headlines across the country and beyond.
Exactly. Then we move to newspaper headlines and analysis, where we dig deeper into the front pages. And this morning there is plenty to unpack, especially from the political desk.
Yeah, that's true. Speaking of politics, our big story today is already stirring heated debates across Oyo State and even Nigeria.
Exactly.
Of course, we are talking about Governor Seyi Makinde's proposed 63.4 billion naira renovation of the Oyo State Government House. Of course, you heard me right, 63 billion naira.
Eyes are rolling. All right, and joining us to break it down is none other than APC's stalwart and public affairs analyst Olawale Shadari. Is not holding back, and you don't want to miss what he has to say about the cost, the timing, and the politics behind it.
Trust me, he's going to do justice to that. It's going to be a very hot one. Is it luxury or leadership? Is it a facelift or a misplaced priority? Let's hear from both sides and from you, our viewers, on this show.
And yes, we'll cool things off a bit with sports, corner updates from the weekend games, transfer balls, and how Nigeria's athletes are preparing for the All-African Games. All
right, that's true. Plus, on Trend Watch, this morning we are checking out what's going viral this Monday morning.
We'll also be touching on more lifestyle trends, tech, and a quick motivational moment before we wrap up.
That's true. That's how we do on this show. So get your phones ready. Join the conversation on social media. We are live on all platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and even YouTube. It is at Dominion Broadcast. And on X, formerly Twitter, it is at Dominion Cast. Of course, as we told you on this show, we've got a lot lined up for you this morning. Yemi, good morning once again.
Good morning, Samson.
Happy New Week.
Happy New Week.
You look amazing this morning. I must tell you that.
You look dapper yourself.
Well, I'll take that with a pinch of salt.
We'll talk about pepper soup later. We need to talk about
after the show. But of course, Ondo State government, they have proposed death penalty for convicted kidnappers. Yeah or nay?
I think it's a good development. I think Ondo State is the second state to actually come up with that this year. I think Edo sometimes in April signed it into law that these people should face death penalty. I think if we can actually do that, not just in Ondo State alone, if other state governors can actually adopt this, I think we can reduce this issue of kidnap cases in our country. Because look at it, is this issue of kidnap cases we actually not allow a lot of investors to say, okay, I want to go to that state and invest, in as much as they want to come and make money and then benefit the lives of the people. When they notice that you can actually get kidnapped at any time. It doesn't matter whether you're a stranger or not. I mean, it will deter them from saying, I want to go to this state and actually invest. But if this can be signed into law, I want to believe that, some persons who have the idea of saying, I want to start this business, because in Nigeria now it's like a business. Yeah. We've seen cases whereby, two relatives, they will decide to come together and then
like
form
one of them.
Exactly, and then they will call the family members to say, come and drop this amount. And we see cases like that. It's actually worse.
You have even seen people faking their own kidnapping.
Exactly,
hide
exactly.
somewhere, tell your family members you've been kidnapped, and then somehow, you know, money is paid into a certain account, or probably cash is delivered. And
Exactly.
when you talk about investors not coming around, it's not just about investors not coming around.
Okay.
Nigeria has a lot of tourist sites
that
and
people might want to see.
Yes, foreigners would want to be here, but because there are security challenges, it does not matter which state, which town, which city. All that matters is there are kidnapping cases in Nigeria, and people like that wouldn't want to come here.
Exactly.
So it's a big challenge, and I feel like the tourist sector should be a huge, source of income for the country. IGR for the country, for states, for local governments, because when you come around, you boost the economy in those areas. But people will stay back. They wouldn't want to come. Even Nigerians abroad are scared of coming to Nigeria. But then that's a topic for another day.
Look at the insecurity going on in the country.
Of course, that's another topic for another day. We'll talk about tourism and how, you know, Nigerians abroad and some other people who want to come to Nigeria are scared of going to some places. But then that takes us away from this segment of the show this morning. We'll say a very big thank you for joining us. Of course, there's a lot to unpack on this show this morning. Now, we go straight to our news desk, as Yemi Adilaku will be waiting for you to give you updates all around the world. Of course, you can keep the conversation going by joining us on all social media platforms. On YouTube, it is at Dominion Broadcast. Do well to subscribe to that channel. On Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, it is at Dominion Broadcast. Follow us, like our post, and of course, drop your comment there. And on X, formerly Twitter, is at Dominion Cast. You can also watch us live on our website, www.dominion.org.ng. Now, let's head straight to our news desk. We'll be back after this time out.
I'm waiting. Good morning. This is Daybreak News on Dominion Television. My name is Oluwayemi Adelakun. Vice President Kashim Shettima has pledged federal government swift response to the suicide bombing in Borno State, which left no fewer than 24 people dead. Shettima condemned the suicide bombing by a female at a local who joined a Koduga local government area of the state as the heinous acts of terrorism against innocent civilians. Several other people were injured in the attack, which locals strongly believe was the handiwork of Boko Haram or ISWA's insurgent. The Vice President extended heartfelt condolences to the families of the victims and the people of Borno State while reaffirming federal government's determination to bring the perpetrators to justice. The federal government has invested over 200 billion naira in the agricultural sector as part of its efforts to boost food production and ensure national food security. The Minister of the Federal Ministry of Agriculture and Food Security, Abubakar Kyari, disclosed these in a statement. Kyari also revealed that the ministry distributed fertilizers worth over 2.1 million naira free of charge to farmers nationwide to support cultivation and improve yields. The Minister of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Festus Keyamo, has said Air Peace will begin direct flights to London Heathrow Airport from Abuja on October 26th. Keyamo made this known in Abuja in a statement signed by his Special Advisor on Media and Communications, Tunde Moshood. According to him, the landmark achievement follows sustained diplomatic effort by the federal government to enforce reciprocity in international air travel agreements. The Senate Committee on the Review of the 1999 Constitution is set to organize a comprehensive two-day zonal public hearing in the country's 6 geopolitical zones. Special Advisor to the Deputy President of the Senate on Media and Publicity, Ismail Mudashir, in a statement said the hearing was to gather Nigerians' input on the proposed constitutional amendments. The committee, chaired by the Deputy President of the Senate, Barau Jibrin, said the public hearing, which will be held simultaneously in Lagos, Southwest, Enugu, Southeast, and Ikotekpene, South-South, Jos, North Central, Maiduguri, Northeast, and Kano, Northwest, is convened to gather the input of citizens on the proposed amendment to the nation's constitution. The Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board, JAMB, has said that it will conduct the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination mop-up examination on Saturday, June 28. This was contained in a post on the official X handle of JAMB. It said that the examination would accommodate the 5,096 spillover candidates and those who failed biometric verification during the main exercise. JAMB further explained that 91,742 candidates who were absent in both or either of the main and receipt examination will also be given this opportunity, which is only for the 2025 UTME. The Minister of Power, Bayo Adelabu, has expressed his readiness to make personal sacrifices and abide by the terms necessary for the success of the All Progressives Congress in Oyo State ahead of the 2027 general elections. Adelabu made this known in an interview with newsmen on the sidelines of a meeting with the state APC executives and the 33 local government chairmen of the party, held at his private residence in the government-reserved area, Ibadan, the state capital. He emphasized that the party is more important than any individual political office over, stressing the need for unity and collective effort to ensure the APC's victory in the state. The Ondo State government has demolished the memorial park erected in honor of the victims of the June 5, 2022 massacre at St. Francis Xavier Catholic Church in Owo local government area. A viral video that surfaced showed a bulldozer pulling down the cenotaph, which was inscribed with the names of over 40 Christian worshippers killed during the terror attack. However, the park's location directly opposite the Olowo of Owo's Palace sparked controversy among local indigents and traditional stakeholders who described it as a cultural taboo and urged the state government to relocate it. Confirming the demolition, Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa's spokesperson, Ebenezer Adeniyo, said the action followed former complaints from the palace regarding the cenotaph's placement. In business, the National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, and the Japan International Cooperation Agency, JICA, have signed an agreement for the commencement of a $11.2 million innovation hub in Abuja. The Director General of NITDA, Kashifu Inuwa, who announced this in Abuja, said that the project began with the launch of the IHatch, an initiative designed to train and incubate startups supported with seed funding by JICA. According to the Director of Corporate Communications of NITDA, Ajia Adiza Umar, the project, backed by $11.2 million grant from JICA, is designed to significantly boost Nigeria's innovation landscape by providing vital infrastructure and support for startups. You can visit our website on www.dominion.org.ng to watch us live and interact with us. You can also follow us across our social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube and LinkedIn at Dominion Broadcast and X at Dominion Cast. That's the break news. I am Oluwayemi Adelakun saying thank you for watching and good morning. All right, good morning once again. This is Daybreak Live on Dominion Television, and this is where we look at the major headlines across the dailies and, of course, do some analysis on some of the top stories. My name is Oluwayemi Adelakun, and this morning I'm not alone in the studio. I have with me analyst Ganiyu Toye, and is going to help us make sense of some of these top stories. Good morning.
Good morning, and it's nice to be here once again.
Trust you're doing great this morning. All right, starting with the Blueprint newspaper, I have this headline that says Lamido's claims on Tinubu's June 12 road distortion of history. That's coming from the presidency. That's an interesting story because what I read through this story was talking about the fact that the president, the current president of Nigeria, was actually part of the annulment of June 12. And of course, his mother as well, that is Al-Aja Abibat Mogaji, was also part of this thing. And then she mobilized some market women to actually support the annulment. However, the presidency has come out to say that it is nothing like what this person is saying. The president, was not part of the annulment of June 12. I also have this one that says, new ECOWAS president vows seeks unity, inclusive growth. Yesterday, the president of Nigeria, handed over to the president of Sierra Leone in terms of the leadership of the ECOWAS. Moving on to this newspaper, I have National Economy. And it's saying industrial decline, manufacturers worry as Nigeria's economy now 57% service-driven. It has a rider, investors shun manufacturing amid infrastructure decay, affects instability and others. It's an interesting story. We might look at that this morning. Moving on to Nigerian Tribune, I have this one that says 2027 controversy throws application to register ADA. And this headline asks these writers, no decision yet on party adoption. That's coming from Atiku. ADC National Chairman, the Sons ADA, says coalition's platform may be unveiled this week. Honestly, we got to, see this news during the weekend about this new political party. Some of the top shots in the political landscape of Nigeria are coming together. And then people are saying, can this party actually challenge APC come 2027? We are going to discuss that very shortly. Moving on to New Telegraph, I have this one that says Tinubu supported June 12 annulment, not part of pro-democracy struggle. That's coming from Lamido. I spoke about that already. I have this one that says attack fallout, U.S. citizens, troops in Middle East legitimate target, Iran declares. I also have this one that says killings, clerics ask federal government to designate killer elders terrorists. That's talking about some of the activities of these elders in Benue and some parts of the country. Moving on to leadership, I have this one that says President Tinubu commissions newly constructed A2 Junction Abuja-Lokoja Road. Moving on to another paper this morning, I have This Day, and I have this headline that says, in battle over June 12, Alake accuses Lamido of memory loss. That's quite serious. We might look at it. I have this one that says, Tinubu, I am confident Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger will return to ECOWAS soon. That's something we might need to talk about this morning, because a lot of persons have said that during the tenure of the president, these people had to leave, and it's looking like they are not going to come back. But we can never tell. Anything can happen. All right, it's time to turn to my analyst this morning. Let's make sense of some of the top stories that we have on the pages of newspaper across the country. Let's start from the blueprint. I have this one that says Lamido's claim on Tinubu June 12 rule distortion of history. That's coming from presidency. And a lot has been said concerning this June 12. June 12 happened, about some days ago, and then it's like after that celebration, some persons, have decided to come out and say a lot of things. So what do you make of this? Because the presidency is saying this man has memory loss. Nothing like that happened. Because he also mentioned the fact that even the mother of, our president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, Alhaja, Abibatu Mogaji, mobilize market women to actually support their annulment, and then even the president himself, was part of the whole thing. What do you make of this?
I think it's just 2027 playing out.
Okay.
I think it's just majorly politics, because it seems that it's only ex-governor Lamido who has come out with these claims. Everybody who was part of the June 12 struggles in 1993, none of them have come out to make this claim. It's just been Lamido. And it's just surprising that it's just now that he's coming out to say this. There were times in the past that he seems to be in good relationship with the current president, President Tinubu. Okay. We didn't hear this. So why is it that it is now that he has fallen out with the government in power, with APC, that we are getting to hear this? It's going to be very interesting times ahead if this claims is true. But I think it's just politics being playing out, and it will all fizzle out.
Do you think issues like this will continue? Because, most of the, parties that were alive then, a lot of them are dead. And so it's easy to just come out and say this and this and that and just, talk about some of these things. Do you think issues like this will continue? Not about president now, about some of the people that were around that time that are no longer alive. Should we, expect issues like this, someone coming out to say this person was part of this and this person did this at that time?
I'm actually expecting to have more of this. in the run-up to the 2027 elections. Various people are going to come with all manners of claims, you know, trying to distort history and co. Maybe it will even allow us to better understand all the happenings around them, because we always had this one-sided, you know, rendition of every narrative of what happened. Then maybe we would have a good understanding. But I think it's just politics being played out, and it will fizzle out as the elections come by with time.
All right, let's look at another headline this morning. I have this one on Nigerian Tribune, and it's talking about 2027 controversy trails application to register ADA. I don't know whether you saw the news over the weekend, and then a lot of people are saying, you know, looking at this party, you know, we have, you know, former Vice President, you know, Atiku. We also have, you know, former governor of, you know, Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai. We have former governor of Rivers, you know, Rotimi Amici. Don't forget, both of them have been saying a lot about this government. People are suffering. He's not eating well. He talked about a lot of things. What do you make of this? Do you think this can actually work? Can it serve as a strong opposition come 2027? Because if you look at this party, you know, we have people from the APC that, you know, defected. We have people from the PDP. We also have more people from Labour Party, you know, joining this political party. Can he actually, you know, stand as a strong opposition come 2027?
I'm actually hoping that they stand as a strong opposition, because as it is now, there is no strong opposition to the APC. And it's not good for our democracy. There are no checks and balances. I hope that they can come on, sort out their registration issues, because INEC said they still have some registration issues.
Yes.
I hope that they can sort it out as soon as they can. Let them come on board as a strong opposition bloc to the APC, so that there can be checks and balances in the system. Whether they will win elections is another thing. But at least let's have an opposition that would at least have like a check and balance to what the APC currently is doing, because this that they are doing is not healthy, you know, in our democracy. Let's remember that prior to 2015, you know, the APC came out as a strong opposition to the PDP, and they were helping to keep PDP on their toes. But right now, there is no strong opposition party who is doing such. So I hope that they can come on board. I only hope that they can come on board and, you know, give an APC a run for their money. Okay,
looking at the body language of some of the top shows in this party, who do you think will come up as the flag bearer? Because, I mean, a lot of persons are saying, looking at how Atiku has been contesting in PDP for a while, if I want to still be the flag bearer, this might cause issues among some other persons that have interest.
So, the way it is now,
okay,
the body language of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar is still shows that he wants to still have a run at the presidency come 2027.
Okay.
There are also some who also want to go. Some who claim that he's old, he should step down. You know, we're going to have that, you know, internal squabbles here and then. How they play around it, well, I only hope that they do it well. But I just want them to come on board, so that at least we can have checks and balances in the system, so that APC can be checkmated in some of the policies that they are doing. Because currently, as we speak, there is no opposition in the country.
What about the PDP, Labour Party, SDP? Do you think these will affect their activities? Because a lot of persons, I see people, I don't know whether I'm speculating. I see people move from those party, to this new party,
so
before
the
2027.
Internal party squabbles in these parties, I'm not sure would allow them be coordinated enough for them to be able to have a good foothold in the 2027 elections. I believe that these internal party squabbles is going to greatly affect them. And I'm looking at defections even onto this new party, the ADA, if truly they come on board and they sort out their registration issues. I'm still expecting that a lot of big shots would want to join the party. You know, they will have all manners of disgruntled politicians and all sorts who want to leave the APC and other parties. So I'm expecting that if the ADA comes on board, they will leave, and let's have a strong opposition bloc. But see, for the other parties, PDP, Labour, SDP, I believe that the internal party squabbles would scuttle their chances in the forthcoming election. Okay,
so I read, in the news that they had to adjust the constitution so as to accommodate, some new persons that will come in. But, we'll keep having people, wanting to join that political party. So if they keep adjusting, will this not lead to another, internal issue that might actually affect their chance come 2027?
So, basically now, everybody's eye is on the 2027 election.
Yes.
So I believe that they would come to a sort of agreement. It might not hold water after the elections. But because of the fact that their eye is on how to dislodge the APC, they would find a way to come to an agreement, all sorts of. But probably after the elections, then we'll now start having, you know, these strange bedfellows who came together, you know, start, you know, scumbling about this and that. But let them just come on board. I think after the elections, they will find a way to resolve that also.
All right, let's talk about, you know, Kenneth Okonkwo, the former spokesperson for Labour Party. I watched an interview yesterday, and then he was talking about the fact that it would be better for an old politician to actually, you know, be the flag bearer of this coalition, you know, political party, because he feels if a younger person should come up, they are going to swallow him up. He even made a reference to Obama. He said if Obama should come, they are going to swallow me up, but it's better for an old politician to come up. And then with the body language, it appears that he was trying to, you know, talk in favor of the former vice president of this country, that's Atiku Abubakar. What do you make of this statement? You know, the old politician coming up to be the flag bearer.
So Kenneth Okonkwo is a very interesting character. You know, in time past, he has advocated for a younger candidate. Now
he's coming
in for another. So we don't know actually where he stays. I just believe that we just need somebody who is credible and can have strong followership all over the country, whether he's young, whether he's old, because obviously certain interests are going to be working for him. I won't expect that he would have that political clout, you know, to be able to go everywhere, but probably he might have certain big weights politicians who are, you know, behind him, who will be able to help him in all the states. So I don't necessarily believe whether young or old. I just believe if you have good people and a strong followership following you, you'll be able to do well.
Well, is it possible, looking at the age of past presidents in Nigeria? I mean, let's take it from Obasanjo, you know, former President Buhari, down to, you know, President, you know, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Is it possible for a younger person to actually, you know, come up as the president?
So for now, it's quite challenging. We will get there.
Okay.
But you know, anybody who is going to be our president for now is still going to be within this age group.
Okay.
You know, the Tinubus of this world, the Peter Obis of this world, the Atikus of this world, you know, between their age brackets, simply because for now, they control the larger followership all over the country. Maybe in years to come, we'll have younger candidates of, you know, in their 30s and in their young 40s. But for now, the way our political ideology is now, we'll still be having people within that age bracket.
All right, we do hope that, you know, someone better will come up, just like you said. Okay, let's talk about, you know, the increase in the price of petrol, I mean, over the weekend and over the weeks, because a lot of persons do not understand, especially, I mean, the masses. They are wondering why a war, a global war, will affect our activities as a nation, going by the fact that we have, you know, oil, we have this, we have that. Can you help us, you know, expatiate on this and make us understand the dynamics, because a lot of persons out there do not really understand the dynamics. Okay,
so Iran is the third highest oil producer in OPEC, and they have a way of supplying one of fifth oil that is being used for the big boys in Europe. But because of this crisis now, they have shut, you know, that production from reaching the guys in Europe. So it has formed a part like a form of an artificial scarcity.
Okay.
So what is available now is what every other person is buying. Now, Nigeria, for now, you know, because of what has been done in the past, we've been told that some of our crude has been sold in advance. So we don't have, you know, the capacity to be able to feed Dangote.
Okay.
So Dangote has to import, you know, crude for him to be able to refine into petroleum products for us to use.
Okay.
So unfortunately, the prices also are not stable. So it's at the price that Dangote buys at the international market that he has to bring here. And after adding all the various costs involved in refining and all the associated costs before it gets to us, the final consumers. Also, unfortunately, there's volatility also in the financial markets. The dollar is not stable, and all that is playing. So what countries are doing is that they are looking for schemes to be able to mitigate, you know, the results of these for their citizens. We came up also with a scheme for doing the crude for Naira swap deal that we did. It was intended that, you know, we'll buy crude here in Naira, we'll refine it in Naira so that at least the cost for the citizens will be low. But unfortunately, that policy is not working. And government officials have been quiet about it. So it has made Dangote and other local refiners now to go and import crude and it's at the price that they are buying it at the international market that they have to bring it here, refine, and all that. Independent marketers also have said because they are not getting enough supply locally also from Dangote, they also have to import. Also, like I said, there is artificial scarcity simply because of the Iran and Israel war. America has joined in now. Yes. And so it's at the price that they are able to buy that they will sell to us, unfortunately. So we just believe that the government should just come up, see what they can do around the crude for Naira swap so that we don't get affected as citizens, because there's a possibility that if they don't do anything, we might be buying petrol for close to 1,500 if this crisis still continues.
I mean, that's serious, because looking at the body language of these two countries, do you see this war coming to an end soon?
This war is still going to escalate.
Now regardless of the attack of the US.
Regardless of, so it's still going to escalate. So it's just for our government in Nigeria to be creative enough in ensuring that the crude for or a Naira oil deal that they did is actually working. If it works for us as citizens, the effects will be mitigated. Not totally eradicated, mitigated. Probably the prices will be stable around 880 to 900. But the way it is now, that nobody is speaking and everybody is leaving it to the market forces, is determining prices. As we speak, some independent marketers have started selling for 1,000 naira. And some might sell for 1,001, because everybody claims that's the price that they are importing it, you know, from abroad from. So it's a dicey situation. We only hope that the government will sit up and do the needful.
All right, thank you. Away from that, let's talk about insecurity on our roads and in some certain, state, because over the weekend we saw what happened, in Plateau State. About 13 persons were killed, and these people were actually attending a wedding, and then they asked some persons for, because it happens to a lot of people. I mean, even amongst us, when you don't know where you are going, you tend to ask people, please, can I get a proper description to where we are going? And then these people were ambushed. The bus was burnt down, about 12 persons died, and then when I read the news, it was talking about the fact that, these people were just suspicious about, people, traveling a bus to their environment. How can we calm people down? Because, I mean, you cannot just say because you are suspicious of this person and then you decide to attack them, because it happened in Plateau State. We don't know where it might happen the next time, and people will always have reasons to travel from one state to the other.
So there is clearly a disconnect between government and the citizens. The citizens feel that the government is not doing enough to secure them. So the citizens are resorting to self-help, unfortunately. And so for anything anybody sees, they tend to take laws into their hands and implement actions on their own. Take, for instance, the issues in Benue. Some of the locals actually claim that they gave our security agency some intel before those incidents happened. But unfortunately, those intels were not followed up, and it now resulted into the loss of lives. So people are now resorting into self-help, which is an unfortunate way of embracing security issues. I would only feel that I hope that the National Orientation Agency will come up now with strategies, to be able to assure the citizens that the government is actually making efforts, even if the efforts are not being seen to be working, so that we can curtail all of this. But there is clearly a disconnect, and that's why people are resorting to self-help.
Okay, speaking of the Benue incident, because I read in the news that some parties are saying the president should refer this case to the ICC, International Court of Justice, because it looks like a lot of persons have been arrested. I recall around last year, a lot of arrests was made about, some of the suspects, that come up with these attacks and the likes. Why is it so difficult to actually, prosecute these people? Maybe that will serve as a deterrent to others, because even this recent incident that happened in Benue, I don't think anyone has been arrested yet. And that the president, made a reference with why is it that no one has been arrested, concerning this incident? So is it because, the security agencies, are they trying to, I don't want to use the word that, that particular newspaper used, because it might not be appropriate on national TV. But what do you make of these cases? Why is it difficult to arrest people? And even when these people are arrested, why is it difficult to prosecute them the right way?
So I think the president needs to review the terms of engagement with the heads of the security agencies. In the private sector, you are giving your deliverables, and there is a way that it's being measured.
Okay.
If you don't deliver on your deliverables at a certain time, you know, there are consequence management to it. Unfortunately, in Nigeria, it seems that we don't have that play out in the public sector. You know, people might have deliverables, but it seems there is no consequence management, you know, to their failures. For instance, if you are the head of an agency and a particular incident keeps happening repeatedly, you know, I want to believe that after a time, if I do not see any improvement in your leadership of that agency, there will be consequent management in the fact that I will have you replaced and let somebody come with fresh ideas on how to deal with the issues. We still keep having these issues, and they are the same in terms of strategy and in terms of, you know, the operation. You keep hearing about this kinetic approach to things, but these same kinetic approaches have not been working, and still we are deploying them over and over again. So I think the president, as, you know, the commander-in-chief, needs to look at this and come out with another blueprint on how to assess the heads of these agencies, because every effort they are putting in is not yielding anything. It's not yielding anything in terms of security. And the buck stops at his table. Is it a lack of political will? We don't know. Is it the fact that probably the agencies are underfunded, or they are foreign interest, or whatever? We don't know.
Or is it politics playing out?
Is it even politics playing out? We
because
don't know.
The former governor of Benue State, Samuel Autumn, was speaking to the current governor that he should leave every other thing and then focus on how to actually safeguard the life of the people.
You see, it's cheesy for the ex-governor to say that, because while also he was there, this crisis, you know, was there. Why didn't he also use this strategy that he's telling the governor about? You know, it's a whole lot. I just feel that probably opinion leaders in Benue should actually have a round table and let's discuss how we can nip this issue in the bud. You know, there are so many angles to it. You know, there is an angle of land grabbing. Okay. There is armed herdsmen. You know, some communities are fighting with each other. You know, they said there are climate issues in some places. Some people have to relocate from some places. There are a lot of issues. I just feel that the opinion leaders need to actually sit down and help the government in how to resolve this. This is not a time to play politics. This is not a time to be to play ethnicity and all manners of things. Let's just all come together and look for a feasible solution to this. Yes, the army would come up with the kinetic solutions, but obviously now we have to look at non-kinetic approaches in resolving this in the bud. So it's not just about giving advices here and there. You know, let's all come together and see how we would harness all these advices and stop, you know, this crisis in Benue.
All right, thank you so much, Analyst Stoic, and you for being a part of the program this morning. This is how far we can go on the show this morning. Once again, thank you for joining. It's time to connect with Big Story, and Samson Balogun is waiting. My name is Oluwayemi Adelako. I'm saying good morning once again.
All right, good morning and welcome to the big story on Daybreak Live. Your front view, front row seat to the issues shaping our state and our nation. It is Monday, the 23rd of June, 2025, and I am Samson Balogun, here to guide you through a conversation that's stirring public opinion and challenging governance priorities in Nigeria. Today, we turn the spotlight on a proposal that has sparked debate across Oyo State and beyond. Governor Seyi Makinde has put forward a 63.5 billion naira renovation plan for the government house, a proposal that has raised eyebrows, drawn criticisms, and sparked conversations about budget priorities, governance optics, and the state of public infrastructure. Is this a step towards modernization or a misplacement of priorities at a time when citizens are demanding greater attention to education, healthcare, and rural development? On the big story today, we engage the facts, gather perspectives, and weigh the implications. Good morning once again. Samson Balogun is my name. Of course, I won't be doing this alone today. I have with me in the studio APC stalwart, and of course, the publicity secretary of the APC in Oyo State, Honorable Wasiu Olawale Shadare. Good morning to you, sir.
Good morning, Mr. Balogun. How are you today?
Good to have you in the studio.
It's my pleasure to be on the show this wonderful morning, and I thank you for having me.
All right, let's make sense of the current announcement by the Oyo State Governor that he has earmarked 63.5 billion naira for the renovation of the government house. Now, we will take into consideration so many things. One, he has spent 6 years in office. Two, at a time when citizens are requesting for dividends of democracy, good roads, hospitals, well-furnished libraries, schools, and things like that. But the governor has come out to say the next thing to do is that Oyo State is turning 50 soon. The government house should be renovated with 63.5 billion naira. We are coming to how many hospitals that can actually build, but then we are coming to that. Please help us make sense of this particular announcement.
Thank you very much. Our viewers are out there. Good morning to you all. You see, it is even not a funny matter because we are talking about a whopping amount of money. You mentioned 63.5 billion naira. Of course, that was what was announced, but I'm sure by the time they embark on the project, they will still have a
some
cost
supplementary
to add more to it. That has been their style in government. You see, the government house that we are talking about is there as the property of the state. It is something that is very necessary because if it was not necessary, it wouldn't have been built in the first instance. It has been there for donkey years, and governments or administrators came and they left. The last person that governed Oyo State before Governor Seyi Makinde was the late Senator Abiola Ajimobi. He occupied the place. In 2017, I can remember vividly, precisely on the February 17, 2017, the governor himself, while in office, invited me for a private discussion, and that was the place we used. I saw things for myself. You know, Ajimobi was a man of taste, very classy, so everybody needs. So he would not dwell where you do have a beautiful thing to look at. So he loved aesthetics. So he was a man of class. So that tells you that by the time he did his own renovation, he gave the place a kind of an uplift, and the place was a marvel to watch at that time. So Governor Seyi Makinde came on board in 2019, and he felt he didn't need the government house, at least to live in. So, and he abandoned the place. So he let it for some strange faces to occupy, people from other parts of the country who he takes for his allies. So they had been the one occupying the place for since 2019. And what they did to the place to make it inhabitable again, I wouldn't know. Because something that was renovated comprehensively in 2017. So 7-8 years down the line, you're not saying that the place is now rotting or it has become a mess of itself. So we do not understand. He owes us a lot of explanation on what has become of that place that makes it necessary for him now to spend so much on it. Now, we're not even talking about building a new government house, renovation. You see, he came up with a convincing statement that overhauling of the structures of the government house. So this, in a way, we do not even understand what he actually meant. But be that as it may, the fact remains that the announcement was outrageous, not well thought out. In fact, it was a slap on the face of the good people of the state that the governor would just wake up one day and make such announcements to the public. Quite embarrassing. What do we want to do with such humongous amount of money in this hard time, when people can hardly feed themselves, when economic hardship is biting harder on the populace? So it's a kind of what I can call a misplaced priority on the part of the governor and his handlers. So it is condemnable, and we at the APC, we are not in support of that thing, and we are using this opportunity to tell the governor that he should have a rethink on it. So we don't need that for now, and whether even if he wants to spend less amount on it, that should not form part of our priority for now. We still have many other things that beg for attention of the government of the day. So your state cannot feed itself. We rely on other states to feed our people. So our roads in many parts of the states are bad. The hospitals are there, they are bad. The schools are bad. So we cannot guarantee good security for our people. So in terms of commerce, we are not doing well in Oyo State. What's our GDP? So the rate of unemployment is skyrocketing on a daily basis. The governor has not been doing well. So he has less than 2 years to spend in office now. But I am still telling him, as his brother, that within the remaining 2 years, he can still turn things around and ensure that he leaves an enduring legacy. So after his tenure, Mustafa.
All right. Do you believe the renovation plan reflects the value of people's first governance, or is it a sign of disconnection from the realities of average Oyo State citizen?
I've said it earlier on this program that it's a misplaced priority. There was no basis for such renovation at this crucial time. Even we are talking about renovation of the government house. In the same broadcast, the same announcement, he said it to the world that they still have in their plan to hire or engage some expert horticulturists, gardeners. So, and the sum of 132 million naira will be given to those people. So, what do horticulturists, what do they do? So, they plant flowers, they nurture flowers. So, if we are spending 132 million naira on maintenance of flowers around the government house. So that alone tells you what he wants to do with our 63.5 billion naira. Because an average man on the street might not even know what 63.5 billion naira, what it amounts to. Because we are talking in billions here. So if you ask the man on the street, so how much is 1 billion naira? He might not even understand because he has never seen it. He doesn't know what it looks like. So because you see, even as bad as our naira is, 63.5 billion naira is a whole lot of money, which can be used to better the lives of the citizenry. So by a responsible administrator. So what we are saying here is that our government should have a rethink. You see, when he came on board in 2019, he didn't miss the opportunity to tell the world that he has come with that toga of financial indiscipline. Because the very first thing he did was to announce the award of a contract. They wanted to print some notebooks for the public secondary and primary school PPs at that time. And it turned out that they gave it out at the rate of 2,100 per copy. Size books, Iwe Ajako, that's what we call it in Ibadan here. So, and at that time, the market rate of the city leaves exercise book was 40 naira, 40, 50 naira at that time. And a governor awarded a contract for the president of the same the notebook at the rate of 2,100 naira. So when we challenged him on it, and AFCC came around to at least look into that particular thing and establish the veracity of our claim, what the governor did was just to run to the court, and he told the court that to stop EFCC from carrying out their duty at that time. So up till now, the case is still pending in the court. So EFCC cannot even come to your state to look at the books of the financial record of our governor again, because he has obtained an injunction from the court impeding EFCC or ICPC.
And if the case is in court,
so
you can't discuss it further.
So that's why we are restrained here. So he has caged the EFCC in a way. Even if I can tell you that it's temporary anyway. So very soon the thing will be evacuated, and the lid will be blown open very, very soon. That I can assure you.
Okay,
but for now, he doesn't want anybody to look into his record. He doesn't want to be checkmated. So he feels with that immunity, he can do anything.
Now, we'll come to the issue of immunity when it comes to governors in Nigeria. But then, if APC happens to be in power right now, would APC as a political party consider a project of this nature and magnitude at this time?
Even if the symbol of government, I mean the governor, was from our party and he came up with such a bad policy or announcement, in our party we will not support it. This will not be the first time that we are opposing our people in government. So we in APC will not support such a thing because we consider it act of insensitivity. So it is irresponsible of anybody in government at this particular time to think that that's the next thing to do. So I've said it earlier, we have many areas, many sectors begging for the attention of the government. So and even if the amount you are talking about, if you have it, we have it in our covers. So it doesn't mean that we should waste it. In the early 90s, Nigeria had the opportunity of oil windfall. But we messed it up.
Mismanaged it.
We managed the resources. Here we are now. Over 30 years after, we are suffering on account of what we did in the 90s. So now that the federal government has abolished subsidy payments and governors are having more money in their covers, they should be judicious in how they spend this money, because we need to plan for our tomorrow. We need to plan for the rainy days. So you can't just because you have access to enormous resources, you can just do anything with it. No, it shouldn't be like that. A governor will come today, another one will come tomorrow. The office will remain. So our people should not be exposed to a needless suffering all the time. So we use our resources to plan for our future. That should be the best thing to do for any reasonable governor. So it won't be there forever. Even we are talking about the renovation of a government house. That will not be the first time that the governor will engage in any financial recklessness on account of being in the saddle. Even the airport project that we are talking about, airport upgrade project, when they wanted to announce to the whole world that they wanted to raise it to an international standard airport, so he announced a sum of 42 billion naira as total cost of the project. What happened later? So they released the money to the people handling this, and a few weeks or a few months after, so he released another 10 billion naira without any explanation. So, so even last week, when he was announcing, making the announcement on the 63.5 billion naira for the renovation of government house, in that same announcement, he mentioned that they wanted to do something like a ILS, instrument landing system, for the same airport being upgraded. So people are not even considering that. He announced, I think it was 14.3 billion naira again for the ILS. So, and it is evident that the whole cost for the project of a airport upgrade, so should have covered the ILS. So, you see, it's a case of a contract splitting. And if you remember vividly, a chieftain of the PDP had been imprisoned on account of contract splitting. So, it's a criminal offense for you to be splitting contract. So, we have many things to talk about. When it comes to how Governor Seyi Makinde is adding the finances of the state, it's appalling. My brother, it is appalling.
Okay, now, Governor Seyi Makinde is widely regarded as a pro-people leader. Is that true? Or widely the announcement regarded. Of this, or the announcement of this 63.5 billion naira innovation has actually damaged his image somehow?
Well, how do you measure popularity? A man contested for an election simultaneously and he won. So that makes him popular in a way. I can't argue that with you. But even his popularity is overrated. Because in the elections we are talking about, 2019 and 2023, so he didn't win 100%. So that tells you that it is not everybody in the state that is for Governor Seyi Makinde. And even the popularity that we are talking about, it's not natural. It's not natural. So it's a function of
what do you mean by it is not natural?
You see, it's not spontaneous. I can say that the man has been lucky. But now he's overstretching.
How do you define luck when he won the election on
the man is overstretching his luck. You see, when you have 2 or 3 people just for a particular post, one of them will win.
Certainly.
Particularly in a democracy. So, and the one that won is considered to be the most popular. So others too are popular, but he's the most popular among the crowd at that time. I never voted him, so to me he's not popular because it has never been my choice. And same goes for many other people in the state. So because he won the election, so we'll give it to him. So he was popular at the poll. But today now, many people have been disillusioned. They have been made to see that they had developed a wrong impression of the personality of Mr. Governor in Oyo State. He does a lot of things to mislead the people, at least to warm himself into their hearts. So now he has done a lot at the same time to reveal to them the exact personality that he represents. So, you see, even in the PDP today, if you go there and ask our people in the PDP, they will tell you that, man, they will tell you how pretentious he can be. They will tell you that he doesn't talk much, but his action is far from being that of a gentleman. But we are not here to dissect the personality of our governor because he's our number one man in the state. So whether he's popular or not, he has won his election 2 times consecutively or simultaneously. So, and what we will do next, nobody knows. But you can't be a champion forever. So he has exhausted his popularity, and I can assure you that in 2027, it's going to be a different ballgame.
Now, very quickly, let's talk about this. In the budget for this year, the state government allocated 822 million naira for the rehabilitation of 20 healthcare centers, indicating that 63.4 billion naira set aside for the government house renovation could rehabilitate approximately 1,540 healthcare centers at the same unit cost. Now, what's your take on this?
You see, whichever way you look at it, the fact remains that the budget or the sum announced as the cost for the planned innovation of the government house is outrageous, it's unacceptable. We don't need it, at least for now. So the governor has to just do a rethink and come up with a better plan to develop the state. The government house is not even meant for all the residents of the state. It's for a family, the governor and his wife and his possibly his children. So how do one now benefit from the amount of money, that huge amount of money that they want to spend on it? We want something that will impact positively on the life of the masses in the state. So you talked about the health sector. We still have other sectors of the economy that need the attention of the government. The local government system out there has been crippled by this same governor. People cannot get that dividend of democracy from their elected council officials. So if you go to any local government chairman now and you present to him your demand, he will tell you that we are handicapped though. We don't have the resources, we don't have the financial muscle to discharge our duties. So, and if you ask them for that, they will tell you that go to the governor, he's in charge. So the money meant for the development of the grassroots, the governor has the money in his kitty. And these are the money that is mismanaging. So go to the access to the return, you see that our access roads are in deplorable states. The few roads that he is doing in the city of in the state capital, these are what we call sagbelojuyoyo, just to mislead or to misrepresent his style.
But the roads are being fixed.
You see, I do tell people that if you are a governor for 3 months, there's no way that you will not have something to allude to as you are achieving while in office. More so, we have a governor that has an unfettered access to enormous financial resources at the moment on account of the huge allocation being paid to them from the federal purse. So unlike what happened in the past, when we had Lamadeshina, Ladoja, Akala, Ajimobi, these people, they managed the little that they had at their time. But today, we are having a kind of a boom. But how are we managing this boom to ensure that tomorrow, so life will be made abundance for our people? Before we will not suffer for the management of today.
Before we leave this segment, I want to read something to you, and I would love you to make sense of it.
Please go ahead.
The allocation for classroom construction under the State Universal Basic Education Board, SUBEB, stands at 3.5 billion naira. Meaning, the government house renovation budget is more than 18 times the amount earmarked for building schools in the 2025 fiscal year. The state project, an internally generated revenue, IGR, of 143.1 billion naira in 2025. Of these, 63.4 billion naira, or approximately 44.3%, is earmarked for the renovation of the government house. Now, my point exactly is that right now, the state also plans to spend 37.8 billion naira on debt servicing. Combined with renovation cost, this brings the total of 101.2 billion naira, meaning about 70.7% of the state's project IGR will go towards debt servicing and government house renovation.
Okay.
70.7% of the whole allocation and the IGR.
My dear brother, the fact remains what it is. The plan to renovate the government house is misplaced, and it shouldn't be encouraged by any reasonable person anywhere in the world. We are talking about the amount set aside in the budget for renovation of schools and what have you. Even this government house renovation exercise, the governor failed to tell us where exactly it was put in the budget for the year. So it was not budgeted for. And the governor had the opportunity to explain to the whole world what he actually meant with this announcement made by the Honorable Commissioner for Information, Prince Dotun Oyelade, earlier. So the governor had the opportunity to face the members of the House of Assembly, I think a day or two after. So, and we had expected him to use the opportunity to disabuse the mind of the whole world on this particular controversial development. But he bungled the opportunity. He messed it up because he didn't have something tangible to tell the world why he had to propose such huge amount of money on mere elevation of a structure or a building meant for a family out of millions of families that we have in the state. So that money, if well utilized, can affect the lives of a multitude in the state positively. So we do not want the governor to waste our resources any longer. We have had enough in the state, and we are saying enough is enough. So when it comes to profligacy and financial impropriety on account of governance in the state. So we are making this appeal, passionate appeal to our governor, Engineer Seyi Makinde, to discontinue with the plan to spend such a huge amount of money on innovation of the government house that will even outlive him. So most of the people who occupy the place, they are no longer here on the surface of the earth. So we will come, we will go. So the house will remain there. So it's not the property of any individual. Even if you are the governor today, tomorrow will not be the governor again. Another person will come and occupy that place. So when he came around in 2019, so he didn't occupy that place. He chose to live in his private residence. What has happened to the private residence that he has been living since 2019, 6 years after? So he just saw an opening, an opportunity to siphon public fund. That is it.
That's a bold claim.
Yes. I stand corrected. So it's a way of, it's a kind of a conduit through which he feels he can siphon the public money. So and that should be condemned in its entirety. So that's what we are doing now. So the money, if available now, it should invite some people who are knowledgeable, experts. What do we do with this money? Where can we channel this money to guarantee good governance, to give our people access to potable water, good road, good medical facilities, education, security, and what have you. Even in agriculture, if you want to devote half of that money into development of agriculture, in a year after, 12 months after, you begin to see the efficacy of your investments. So we are not doing enough of investment in terms of agriculture, in terms of commerce, and health, education, what have you. So we can still use that money to develop other critical sector of our economy. I think it was last year, he mentioned something about independent power project. And when they finished that thing, of course, they did not tell us the exact amount that is gobbed anyway. So they have that penchant for secretive governance when it comes to contract award.
And what is APC doing as an opposition party in Oyo State?
We do our best, but don't forget that we have our.
And do you think the best you are doing is enough?
We have our limitations. You do not expect us to carry guns, cudgels, and other weapons to say that we want to confront the governor, that you should not do this. So the best we can do is just to go through the media. And I thank you for this opportunity. You have allowed us to come around now and say our mind. So that's the best we can do. You see, there is this conspiracy of silence among the elites out there. So people who are supposed to be on the neck of the Mr. Governor, private individuals, groups, organizations, they are there singing his praise instead. The CCI people, the KBACs, the religious leaders, some of them maintains a real silence. And we do not know the reason for this. This Oyo State belongs to all of us. And we have our people out there sovereign, because a governor has left what he's supposed to do and is now venturing into what he's not supposed to be doing.
What would the APC have done differently if APC happens to be in power? As the spokesperson
we have
of the
been
APC
there
in Oyo State.
Between 2011 and 2019. Ajimabi was there. We all saw what he did with government at that time. He changed the face of governance in the state, and he did say that a leader should take his people to where they are supposed to be and not where they feel they should be. So that is hallmark of leadership. So he changed the face of governance in the state, and he changed our orientation. So although he had his foibles, because he was a mortal, he was a human being at that time. So, but he left a legacy of performance, a legacy of good governance, a legacy that we can all be proud of. But the legacies are now just being eroded gradually.
Because I was about to say the PDP would disagree with you on this.
Well, they are entitled to their opinion. So they are entitled to their opinion. But the public out there, they know what I'm talking about. You cannot compare Ajimobi with Seyi Makinde now. You can only compare an apple with an apple, not a coconut with an apple. So the difference is huge. But it's unfortunate that we find ourselves where we are now. And I want to be there that people have learned their lesson now. So you don't just dwell on emotion for you to elect someone into office. So you look for competence, you look for other qualities.
Some say criticisms of opposition political parties in Oyo State boil down to needless politicking rather than issue-based politics. Do you agree with that?
I don't agree with it because we have never been petty in our choice of criticism anyway. So we do not go into the privacy of Mr. Governor. We don't talk about his family background or how he looks like or what. No, we only focus on his policies, his style of administration, and what he does with governance in the states. So this has always been our focal point. So, and we not relent. So in doing that, because we have volunteered to add value to democracy and rule of law in the state and in the country as a whole. So we will not relent in our efforts. It doesn't matter what some people say out there. So we know what's expected of us as a political party. And of course, in Oyo State today, the only political party that is well structured is the APC. Forget the fact that we are not in government. So we have our structures intact from the ward to the local government to the state level. So we have our population of loyal members. So and we do hold our meetings on a regular basis. So if you go out there, you ask the PDP people where they hold their meeting. No. So in fact, what we have today is not even PDP in government. It is SMP in government, Seyi Makinde party in government. That's what we have in Oyo State today. So we do not have any other party except the APC. So and at the appropriate time, so we'll take our rightful place.
For those who are just joined, let's talk about this once again. 63.5 billion naira is approximately over $40 million, and that is what is about to be spent on the Oyo State Government House. Now, should we as a society normalize a billion naira expenditure on government residencies while most public schools and hospitals remain in shambles?
It boils down to the same thing. It is profligacy, it is corruption, it is embezzlement, it is wastefulness.
These are bold claims.
It is wastefulness. We all know it. We all know it. In fact, the amount of criticism that has greeted this announcement has been overwhelming since last week. So people have never come out to challenge the governor as much as they are doing now on this particular thing.
People challenging the governor, are they card-carrying members of the APC, or they are just Oyo State citizens, indigents?
It is not duty of the political party, the opposition, to do that. As soon as a governor emerges, every other people in the state should wear the toga of checkmating the government. Because if you do this, it will be to your own benefit. You should not say it's only the APC that should be mirroring the government in the state. It's our collective responsibility. Because he's our governor. We put him there. So you shouldn't wait on the APC or the Labour Party or the NNPP to do that for you. We are the civil society organizations. We are the religious leaders. We are the traditional leaders. So we are the prayer groups. So everybody must begin to do the needful. It's our governor. If he does it right, we will benefit from it. If he does otherwise, we will be the victims.
Now, you
shouldn't wait on the APC alone to be doing the job
APC
of
and other political
opposition.
parties.
Yeah.
APC has members on the floor of the House of Assembly. But I've heard so many times that the APC says that the Oyo State House of
What's their
Assembly,
population?
they are rubber stamp.
4 out of the 33.
But 4 can be vocal.
You know how they do muzzle where you do not have the number to square it up with them. So your voice will be rendered useless. So I pity the 4 members that we have in the House at the moment. So if you want to express your mind and the speaker decides not to recognize you, what do you do? So you now take up arms and begin to fight the speaker. Are
they being silenced on the floor of the House?
It's only when they give them the opportunity that they will be able to say anything.
Are they being silenced on the floor of the House?
Well, if you have any of them in your studio, they will be able to tell you what their experience has been since 2023. So, but I have that feeling for them. I do pity them because they have found themselves in a precarious situation.
APC as the leading opposition party in Oyo State. What are you doing beyond criticisms? Are there petitions, public forums, or legislative measures being taken? Yes, we talked about legislative measures, but then are there public forums where you enlighten the people on what they need to know?
We were the first to call the attention of the EFCC to the haste that happened in 2019 August when the governor awarded.
When you say haste, what exactly does that mean?
I mean,
in the context of Oyo State government marking
financial
funds for projects,
official corruption that happened in 2019. You see, if you recollect vividly, when the day the governor was sworn in, the very best day in 2019, so he made it abundantly clear to the public that he had come not to obey the law, but to exert himself as an autocrat, because that was the same day he announced the dissolution of the elected local government at that time. And since then, he has not looked back in his mission to desecrate the institutions of democracy and the rule of law in the state. So he has never looked back. So, and we have been on his neck at the same time, but there's little we can do because we do not have any exclusive power.
Very quickly before we go, let's talk about the local governments in Oyo State. Are they functioning?
I've said it earlier. So they have been crippled. So how do they function? How can they function when the governor does not allow them to have access to the allocation and the IGR? So he has muzzled the local government system, and unfortunately, the people out there who have been put there as officials, they are helpless. They are helpless and helpless at the same time. But at the same time, they are his stooges, they are his boys, so they can't even say anything to the public. That is has been our experience. But the governor himself has never hidden his style. He has said that he doesn't believe in the federal government being the third tier of government. So, in fact, when the federal government made an attempt to give freedom to the federal government, Governor Seyi Makinde was the first to rise up and challenge the Supreme Court for the party which they gave, in which financial autonomy was delivered to the federal government. So the verdict and the development has been frustrated largely by Governor Seyi Makinde and few people who share the same belief with him. So he has been an enemy of the federal government system, and everybody knows that out there. So he has never hidden his reason for that sector.
We have to go.
So that is the reason why we are facing a lot of underdevelopment in our state today.
This is a conversation that will continue soon. I would
like to have you. I will
have you back in the studio to discuss local government autonomy in Oyo State. Thank you for joining us in the studio this morning.
I'm glad you had me today, and I thank you for that opportunity.
All right, Honorable Wasiu Shadari. He is the publicity secretary of the APC in Oyo State, and that's where we'll leave it on the big story this morning. Whether you see it as vision or excesses, the conversation around the 63.5 billion naira government house renovation will continue, and so will the need for accountability, transparency, and people-focused leadership. Thank you for joining us on Daybreak Live this morning. I am Samson Balogun. Stay informed, stay engaged, and do have a productive week ahead.
morning to you. Many thanks for joining us on today's edition of Daybreak Sport. I'm Boluwaji Oguma. Let's kickstart from the third tier of Nigerian League football. Third tier, where the Delta State capital has been picked as the venue of the Super 8 of the NNL, which kicks off from the 5th of July to the 8th of July. The teams that are qualified include Warri Wolves, Osun United, Crown FC, Kun Khalifa of Owerri, Wiki Tories, Yobedesa Stars, Doma FC, and Barua Football Club. The event will hold at the Stephen Kechi Stadium in Asaba, and of course will determine the eventual champion of the NNL, as well as the 4 teams that will be promoted to the Elite League. From there, let's cross there you have the teams on your screen, but then let's cross over to the MPFL this morning, where Benga Ogumbote will remain in charge of Shooting Stars next season after rejecting a move to Kano Pillars. Ogumbote has 1 year remaining on his Shooting Stars contract, and he has decided to honor that contract. The Ibadan club finished 8th position last season, and for Kano Pillars, they are looking to replace their coach, Usman Abdallah, who left the club last month, citing personal reasons for his decision. The 4-time Nigerian Premier Football League champions have made Mohamed Igbada Ganaru, Salisu Yusuf, and of course, the 2 of them as a potential replacement. Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed and see how things pan out from there for them. Let's cross to our national team, that's the Super Falcons, as you can see on your screen. The Super Falcons of Nigeria are set to battle against Portugal in a pre-2024 Women's African Cup of Nations friendly game tonight. 10 players and backroom staff arrived in Lisbon yesterday for the encounter. Former Atletico Madrid forward Omorisola Babajide joined the contingent on arrival in Lisbon yesterday. 30 more players are expected to link up with the team in Portugal. Tonight's encounter will hold at the Estadio José Gomes in Lisbon later tonight, and it will kick off at 7 p.m. Nigerian time at the same time in Portugal. The Super Falcons will face Ghana in another friendly later on Friday. And there you have the list of the invited players for the WAFCON. From female football to female basketball, the Nigerian Basketball Federation has postponed the start of the 2025 Women's Basketball League and released a revised date for the competition. The federation cited the need for improved logistics, coordination and adequate preparation time as reasons for the rescheduling. According to the new schedule, the Atlantic Conference preliminaries will now take place in Benin City from the 21st of July to the 29th of July. Meanwhile, the Savannah Conference fixtures have been shifted to Abuja and will now run from the 28th of July to the 5th of August, featuring teams from the northern region. Well, from the world of basketball here in Nigeria, let's quickly touch on Favour Ofili, a Nigerian sprinter and 150-meter world record holder. Favour Ofili says her switching of allegiance to Turkey as of the 31st of May 2025 is not for monetary gains. The 22-year-old Nigerian Ofili has informed the Athletic Integrity Unit of her frustration with the Nigerian Athletics Federation. Ofili stated that the Nigerian Athletic Federation caused her to miss the 2020 Olympics in Tokyo after they did not confirm her number of doping control tests, and then missed competing in the 100 meters at the Paris Olympics after they did not enter her for the event. She was 6th in the 200-meter final. It's further understood that Ofili told the AIU that her decision to switch was not for financial gains. She owns personal best times of 10.93 seconds and 21.96 seconds in the 100-meter and 200 meters respectively. Well, she joins a long list of athletes who have decided to switch allegiance to Turkey in recent times. Long list of them, I must say. And then we wish her all the very best. She's gone through a lot when it comes to Nigerian Athletic Football Federation. And there you have on your screen Athletic Federation saying that she's so difficult to work with. Well, I guess that has ended at this point. Let's return to the world of basketball and move straight to the NBA, where Shai Gilgeous-Alexander capped a dominant season as they led the OKC Thunder to the NBA championship after beating the Indiana Pacers in Game 7 of the playoff finals. The Canadian, who is 26 years, scored 29 points and had 12 assists in their 103 to 91-point success over the Pacers in Oklahoma to clinch the series 4-3. Well, the first time since 2016 that the finals had gone to the deciding 7th game. He was named the NBA Finals Most Valuable Player MVP to add to his NBA regular season MVP award and scoring title. Just the fourth player, and of course they have done it since Shaquille O'Neal did it many seasons ago. It is the Thunder's first title since the franchise moved to Oklahoma City from Seattle in 2008 after Seattle won the 1979 crown. And we say congratulations to the OKC. Let's move straight to the world of football. The Club World Cup this morning, where Real Madrid yesterday recorded their first win at the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup against Pachuca, despite going down to 10 men as early as the 6th minute to secure a 3-1 win. Real Madrid had been held to a 1-1 draw in their first game against Al Hilal, but of course yesterday they did a very good job for themselves, and there you have the result. But let me inform you that 4 teams already through to the next round. Juventus and Manchester City have become the latest teams to qualify for the round of 16 at the ongoing FIFA Club World Cup. The Serie A side has opened their campaign with a commanding 5-0 win over Al Ain on Sunday. They have now beaten Wydad Casablanca 4-1 to book their spot in the knockouts. In the same Group G, Manchester City, also trashed Al Ain 6-0. Ike Gundogan scored twice. Erling Braut Haaland grabbed his first goal of the tournament, while Claudio Echeverri and Oscar Bob and of course Ryan Cherki also got on the score sheet. Juventus and Manchester City both joined Bayern Munich and Flamengo as the teams already are in the round of 16 of the tournament. Well, there you have on your screen the table after 2 rounds of games. Well, let me also take a look at, tell you about the teams that are out of the tournament already. Wydad Casablanca and Al Ain have become the latest teams to be eliminated from the 2025 FIFA Club World Cup. The 2 clubs have lost their 2 opening Group G fixtures to Manchester City and Juventus, who have both qualified for the next round. For Wydad, they had lost 2-0 to City in their first game before getting trashed 4-1 by Juventus on Sunday. Al Ain were trashed 5-0 by Juventus and suffered another huge loss to City, losing 6-0 on Sunday. This means both teams have no chance of qualifying and will be playing for pride in their final group game on Thursday. The other teams that had been sent out of the competition include Ulsan HD, Auckland City, Los Angeles FC, and Pachuca FC and Arua Red Diamonds. Well, the Gold Cup is still ongoing in the United States. But before then, here you have the matches to look forward to tonight. Atletico versus Botafogo, Seattle versus PSG. And as I leave this morning, let me inform you that the Gold Cup competition, of course, it continues. And of course, we'll be bringing you up to speed with that later today at 11 a.m. on Dominion Sports. Thanks for watching.
All right, welcome back from that short break. That was Daybreak Sports with Boluwaji Ogumola. The show is still Daybreak Live right here on Dominion Television, your channel of choice where inspiration meets entertainment. Don't forget, you can still keep the conversation going by linking up with us on all social media platforms, on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. It is at Dominion Broadcast. But do well to link up with us by subscribing to that channel. Drop your comments and definitely we are going to read them. You can also link up with us on our X handle. It is at Dominion Broadcast. Watch us live on our website, www.dominion.org.ng, and that takes us straight to Trend Watch this morning, where we bring you happenings on social media. And of course, Yemi Adelakun is still here. Together, we'll do justice to that.
And of course, Samson Balogun is still with me in the studio.
Okay, interesting. I like that. Okay. All right, Davido and his 30BG gang, you know, encountered a little bit of what do we call it, in Ibiza, Spain yesterday, and he went straight to the social media platform, you know, wrote all sort of things. But then
let me read what he wrote, actually.
The questions, what he wrote actually really did not get to me. But of course, we'll get to the comment section, and people said a lot of things there, and that we'll take on this show. But then you wanted to take what he said.
Exactly. He said, security just tried to kill me and my team.
I mean,
that's a strong statement coming from a
try
political...
to kill me. It's not like he was harassed. He was saying they tried to take him out. So
okay.
That is a very strong allegation right there. And for you to do that, you must have actually gone through something that looks similar to threats to life. So he wouldn't have just said that if nothing happened. But then let's take a look at the comments on that post. Uni Kalex says, what did you do? What did you and your team do in Ibiza? Is what you haven't said yet. You think this is Lagos, that you will break all the rules and nothing will happen.
That speaks about a lot of things, but I feel like we don't really know what happened in Spain and Ibiza, because for me it could have been maybe like a misunderstanding, or you know, Davido likes to...
Because there was a video even before then, he was partying with his gang, and then minutes later, he posted that they tried to kill him. I mean, something must have happened. You
know, he likes to move with a lot of people, and maybe they are not used to that over there. Maybe someone just entered them that there's this guy with, you know, certain number of persons partying and the likes, and they decided to come and have a look themselves. However, I mean, it's not something that, you know, we should overlook, because we don't really know what happened over there. Regardless of everything, Davido is still, I mean, in Nigeria. And then I just feel like these should be resolved. I mean, we should not have cases like this. And then it's a very strong statement. It can actually incite a lot of things, I mean, if care is not taken.
And I think also Nigerians should learn that when you are in another country, there are things you do properly. There are things you do not do, especially if you get away with it in Nigeria. You just might not get away with it in other countries. That's why we see so many people, you know, painting Nigeria in a very bad, you know, place. Sometimes when they travel abroad, we've seen Nigerians being caught for peddling drugs and the like. So these are things some of them do and go scot-free in Nigeria, and then when they get out there, they get to expose themselves. So we do hope that more stories will emerge, and of course this story will develop and
the bottom of the matter of what exactly really transpired.
And also there's a comment here too that says a lot. This guy needs to watch his language. He's not in Nigeria. Going down could be interpreted to mean many things. He's no longer a child. He should grow up and start acting his age. Learn to react to issues maturely and professionally. You are a brand. Let your management do the talking and not you.
The Davido that we all know is the kind of person that will talk about something like this. I mean, come out to say something like this happened in this place. Yes, he has a brand. I mean, his manager could have, you know, done the talking, but the Davido that we all know is the kind of person that will come out to say something like this happened to me in this particular city or country.
I still feel that he should have used a more cautious approach
because I said it, that statement alone can actually incite a lot of things. Because he just said they tried to kill me and my team.
That's serious.
Looking
that's serious
at
allegation.
The level of followership he has online, his fans, and even his family members, a lot could have
millions of followers
without
on social media platforms like Instagram.
Exactly.
And you know, it just boils down to the fact that sometimes when you attain a particular level, you don't just come out and say things. You have to think it through. It goes through your PR team, and they have to understand what exactly are you putting out there and the consequences that can come out of it. Because I don't think if this allegation is actually not true, and the security men in Ibiza will actually fold their arms and let it slide. They just might take it up
I mean, we don't really heard much from them as well, so we look forward to hearing from them as well, and then we can actually understand the bottom of the matter.
Well, do we have anything else to talk about today on the big story?
Yes.
Yeah, I think the president actually, addressed the people of Nigeria over insecurity incidents across the nation. And that, for me, well, it's a welcome development, but Nigerians want to hear more from the president. Let me take the first paragraph of what he said. He said, I'm deeply saddened and outraged by the series of tragic events that have shaken our nation in recent days, from the cowardly suicide bombing in Konduga, Borno State, to the horrifying launching of innocent travelers in Plateau State, and the deadly explosion in Kano. These attacks on innocent lives are unconscionable and must not stand. I mean, he's actually reacting to things that have happened, but I think we have had enough of reactions in Nigeria. We should be more proactive in handling things, and that boils down to intelligence gathering, the security agencies getting the needed equipment to actually fight terrorism, fight banditry, fight kidnappings in the country. I think that's the way to go.
And of course,
we should stop them before it even happens.
I think citizens have a lot to do as well, because look at the third paragraph. In Plateau State, about 12 persons, wedding guests were actually, they were killed, they were murdered, just because when they got to that particular place, these persons, felt like maybe they have come to harm us, and then they were so suspicious of the people, and then they killed them. The bus was burnt down, I mean, can the government actually correct that? I mean, that has to do with the psyche of those people. I mean, their mentality. I mean, that's
there's nothing the government can do about that other than arresting the people who perpetrated that heinous act, and of course, prosecuting them. But that does not bring back the people who have actually lost their lives. So it means that stopping these crimes before they even happen is the best way to go. Being proactive, and that boils down to the quality of intelligence gathering. The security operatives actually get, and they can't actually work without information. So the people should also do the talking. So if you see anything, say something. If you see something, say something. That helps the government, that helps the security agencies to actually make sure that lives and properties are safe. And
let's be human too. I mean, let's be human. I mean, you can tolerate other people. When you see new people in your environment,
regardless of religion or ethnicity, you just have to be mild.
You don't need to react to them in some kind of way that will make them feel uncomfortable.
And then lynching, for the fact that you caught someone who stole does not mean you should take law into your own hands and lynch them. You should wait for the security agencies to do their job. It's understandable that some people do not have the trust in the security agencies.
Do your investigations.
Of course. So doing follow-up on cases. The problem is, once people hand over criminals to the police, they stop asking questions. They don't follow up on cases.
The case
they
just disappear.
Leave it at that. And in some cases, when there are no witnesses in court, the case will be thrown out. So it's just a matter of time before people realize the fact that, look, aside from handling criminals over to the government, aside from handling them over to security agencies, you do follow up.
Let the people see that even when these people are arrested, they are prosecuted duly. I mean, just like what we talked about this morning, the Ondo State government, proposing that, kidnap.
Penalty
exactly. That's very right, and that's very correct. It will help us to curb some of these excesses and then reduce it to the barest minimum.
All right, we say a very big thank you to everyone that has been in the path of this show so far today, and we do hope that you stay glued to your phones, stay glued to your TV set, as we have a lot to unpack on this dial today. After this, we will have the agenda, the big conversation, and of course the news. So stay glued to your TV sets, stay glued to your phones. There's a lot to watch out for on this show. Don't forget, you can keep the conversation going by linking up with us on all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. It is at Dominion Broadcast. On YouTube, do well to subscribe to that channel. It is at Dominion Broadcast. And of course, you can also watch us live on our website, www.dominion.org.ng. I'll leave you with this morning. Every morning, you have two choices to continue to pick from. Is that you continue to sleep with your dreams or wake up and chase them. That's Camelo and Tony right there. Samson Balogun is my name. Until tomorrow, we shall be meeting again on another fresh edition of Daybreak Live on Dominion Television. I say keep being good, keep being safe out there. Bye for now.
All right, thank you for being a part of the show. The program continues tomorrow 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. And before I go, I want to say, please be human. Always look out for each other. After all, we are all Nigerians. One big society, one big country. My name is Oluwayemi Adela, and I'm saying bye for now.